Hey, hello class. Welcome back to another week. This is week 12 of our journey through all things leadership. And this week we're going to cover a pretty interesting topic. And it's something that a lot of people kind of talk about. We don't talk about this one enough. Well, actually, in the leadership literature, there is a lot of emerging research done on followership. And so we know it takes good followers to make good leaders. And there's been some good research on this area. There's some good models out there having to do with ethics, having to do with sort of the position that leaders take in terms of compliance, engagement, and all those sorts of things, criticalness or compliance. There's some good models out there that you're going to come across that kind of give you some typologies of followers, if you will. And so I think you're going to find this very interesting. And in our discussion question, we'll have a good deep dive discussion question there. I gave you about 10 possible questions, and I want you to choose 2 of those and to respond thoroughly to those. And make sure you pick 2 unique ones. So do not pick 2 that the other student has done. So if you want to get in there, you want to call dibs on 2 of them, so you can choose the ones you want and then do a little bit of research on there. That's fine. Just kind of put a bookmark thread in there and say, I'm going to be doing these ones, and then get them posted by the appropriate date. I'm not doing a full lecture on this. I actually found a really good one. Professor Dunates goes over the entire chapter of Northouse chapter 12 on this particular topic. So he's not quite as engaging or funny as me, but I think he does a pretty good job of going through the material. So I'm going to let you learn from him this week, okay? And from one another, of course. Now remember, next week we're actually getting together on Thursday night. Location is to be determined. I have to see if that room is still available for us over there in the ECR, but if not, I'll find some place and I'll let you guys know. And we won't be doing any discussion next week because we're actually having a class meeting, all right? So that's about it. Hope you enjoy this week's activities. Oh, one other thing I wanted to discuss real quick is one of the threads, the other thread has to do with an assessment. And I'm letting you pick whatever assessment you want to do. It doesn't have to be related to this week, but I'm assuming you guys are chipping away at those assessments, that you're getting your outside raters to do those assessments for you. So I'm asking you to pick one of those that you haven't done previously, give your scores, give the other outside raters scores, then compare them. What can you learn from the differences? Did you rate yourself more highly or more lowly in a particular area? What does that tell you about your own self-perceptions or the perceptions of other people about your leadership ability in that area? And then also give some ideas for growth, some goals that you can set to grow in that particular area. So this discussion thread really sort of is a microcosm of what your final paper is going to look like, right? So what I'm doing is I'm trying to give you opportunities here to develop some thought and some of the data for your final project along with the discussion. So this really can do double duty for that final paper. Now, if you've already done the final paper and you got that information, that's fine. You can kind of go in there and borrow from that, all right? I won't consider that plagiarism because essentially I'm asking you to do the same thing for this thread as for the final paper. So that's fine if you want to do that. If you haven't done it, if you're not working on your final paper, this hopefully will be a good charge to you to get up to speed and start to get those things out there. I really want to start seeing some of those outside rater responses and for you to reflect on those, because we're kind of coming down the home stretch here. And if you don't get those outside responses by now, you're going to run out of time. That's a big part of the project and part of your grade as well, okay? So this might encourage you, spur you on to actually start getting some of those if you haven't done so by now. All right? So that is it for now. Blessings to you guys. I'll see you online later in this week.